Have you ever watched a movie and felt something wasn't quite right? Not just with the plot or acting, but something deeper, something unsettling that seems to linger long after the credits roll. In the shadowy corners of Hollywood, there exists a phenomenon that few dare to speak about openly: cursed film productions. These aren't just movies plagued by budget issues or creative differences. I'm talking about films where cast members died mysteriously, where accidents defied explanation, and where the line between fiction and reality blurred in the most disturbing ways possible. Today, I'm going to take you through some of the most notoriously cursed movies in cinema history. I've spent months researching these dark tales, interviewing industry insiders, and piecing together the chilling patterns that connect these haunted productions. What I found will make you question whether some stories were ever meant to be told on screen. But before we dive into these disturbing accounts, I should warn you, what you're about to hear isn't just Hollywood gossip. These are documented events that changed lives forever and left lasting scars on everyone involved. Let's start with what might be the most infamous cursed production of all time: The Omen. This horror film about the birth of the Antichrist seems to have invited genuine darkness into our world. The troubles began before filming even started. Lead actor Gregory Peck was scheduled to fly to England for filming, but a last-minute delay changed his plans. The plane he was supposed to be on crashed shortly after takeoff, killing everyone aboard. In a horrifying twist, the plane crashed into a car driving near the runway, killing the pilot's entire family. But the nightmare was just beginning. During production, lightning struck the planes of several key members of the crew. Producer Mace Newfield's plane was struck during a transatlantic flight. Then writer David Seltzer's plane was hit. Then, executive producer Harvey Bernhard narrowly avoided being struck while in Rome. That's 4 separate lightning incidents connected to one film. The animal handlers working with the baboons and Rottweilers in the film reported unusually aggressive behavior from the animals. Most disturbingly, a zookeeper who had been hired to assist with the animal scenes was killed by a tiger the day after filming the safari sequence. But the most chilling incident happened to special effects designer John Richardson. After completing work on The Omen, Richardson was involved in a car accident while driving in Holland with his girlfriend. The crash occurred just after midnight on Friday, the 13th of August. His girlfriend was decapitated in a manner eerily similar to a death scene Richardson had created for the film. According to Richardson, moments before the crash, they had passed a road sign for a town called Omen, showing they were 66.6 kilometers away. Director Richard Donner has a different perspective, though. He believes The Omen wasn't cursed, but blessed that these near misses actually show something was protecting the crew. But this protection clearly had its limits. If The Omen opened the door to darkness, The Exorcist kicked it wide open. This 1973 film about demonic possession is surrounded by so many disturbing events that many believe the production itself was possessed. 9 deaths are associated with the film's production. Actor Jack McGowan, who played the film director killed in Reagan's bedroom scene, died shortly after completing his work on the film. During filming, a mysterious fire swept through the set, destroying every part of the house except, strangely enough, Reagan's bedroom, the epicenter of the demonic activity in the story. This was disturbing enough that the production crew called in a priest to bless the rebuilt set. One of the most unsettling stories involves Paul Bateson, who played a radiologist in the film. Bateson was later convicted of murder and was suspected of being the bag murder serial killer who targeted gay men in Manhattan during the 1970s, though he was never charged with those crimes due to lack of evidence. The film's release triggered unprecedented reactions. There were reports of audience members fainting, vomiting, and suffering heart attacks during screenings. Ambulances were reportedly stationed outside theaters in anticipation of extreme reactions. One particularly eerie story involves a screening that supposedly took place in a cinema located between 2 churches. During the showing, lightning struck a 400-year-old crucifix positioned on top of one of the churches, causing it to crash to the ground and break apart directly in front of the cinema. But perhaps the strangest incident happened before filming even began. Jason Miller, who played Father Karras, was approached by a priest in Georgetown who gave him a medallion and said, "Reveal the devil for the trickster that he is." He will seek retribution against you, and he will even try to stop what you are trying to do to unmask him. Miller had never met this priest before, and the man walked away without explanation. While The Exorcist and The Omen are infamous for their cursed productions, Rosemary's Baby carries perhaps the darkest shadow of all, one that extends far beyond the film itself. The story begins with writer Ira Levin, who was searching for his next big idea when he noticed his pregnant wife's due date, June 1966. Those numbers 666 sparked an idea for a tale about a young mother, a dangerous cult, and their plans for her baby. Though Levin feared the controversial nature of his story would end his career, the book became a masterpiece and was quickly optioned for a film. Producer Robert Evans described feeling an eerie presence whenever he visited the Dakota apartment building where the film was set. This feeling would prove prophetic in the most tragic way. Just 1 year after the film's release, composer Krzysztof Komeda fell off a cliff, spent 4 months in a coma, and then died, mirroring the fate that befalls Rosemary's friend in the story after she becomes too inquisitive. Horror filmmaker William Castle, who produced the film, received hate mail so vicious that he developed kidney stones requiring hospitalization. While recovering, he hallucinated scenes from the film, reportedly shouting during surgery, "Rosemary, for God's sake, drop that knife." But the most horrifying chapter in this curse involves director Roman Polanski and his girlfriend, actress Sharon Tate. Tate had desperately wanted to play Rosemary but was passed over for Mia Farrow. She remained present throughout filming, even appearing as an extra. During this time, she reportedly developed an interest in the occult. In the summer of 1969, while heavily pregnant with Polanski's child, Tate and several friends were brutally murdered by the Manson family. Polanski later claimed that before leaving for London, he had a strange premonition: "You will never see her again." The following night, the Manson family killed Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, writing messages in blood on the walls, including "Helter Skelter," a Beatles song title that Charles Manson claimed was a call to start a race war. The connection to the Beatles adds another layer to this dark tale. Much of their White Album, which includes Helter Skelter, was written while Rosemary's Baby star Mia Farrow was present. 11 years later, John Lennon was murdered outside the Dakota, the very building where Rosemary's Baby was filmed. His killer, Mark David Chapman, reportedly saw Mia Farrow walking past him as he stood outside the building, which he interpreted as a sign that he should go through with his plan. Not all cursed films are from decades past. In the early 2010, filmmaker Alex Montecanawati and his producer discovered 19 rolls of old 16mm black and white film in a bag, abandoned in a Hollywood parking lot. Inspired by their find, they created Return to Babylon, a silent film tribute to the scandals of 1920s Hollywood stars. The production took place in locations long rumored to be haunted, including the homes of Rudolph Valentino and Norma Talmadge. Cast and crew reported strange phenomena, feelings of being watched, odd sounds, and even physical sensations. Actress Jennifer Tilly described feeling grabbed by unseen hands. What makes this case truly remarkable is what was discovered during editing. For brief moments, often single frames, the actors' appearances seemed to change unnaturally. Faces would distort, fingers would elongate into claw-like appendages, and strange shadows would appear at the edges of frames. Sometimes figures would materialize with expressions of pain or terror, then vanish just as quickly. Some claimed these distortions made the actors momentarily resemble the departed stars they were portraying. Experts examined the footage and couldn't explain how these effects could have been achieved, while the filmmakers insisted there was no manipulation. While skeptics might dismiss this as a clever marketing strategy, it would be an odd choice for what was intended as a light-hearted film. The director himself didn't view these manifestations as demonic, but rather as biblical, a divine presence making itself visible through his movie. Sometimes the curse follows filmmakers home. In 2009, director Ty West released The House of the Devil, a creepy 1980s throwback filled with occult horror. During production, the cast and crew stayed at the nearby Yankee Peddler Inn in Torrington, Connecticut. Soon, Strange occurrences began plaguing the crew televisions turning on by themselves, lights flickering, mysterious phone calls with no one on the line, and unusually vivid dreams. As the phenomena continued, they learned from hotel staff that these experiences weren't unique to them. The entire town believed the hotel was haunted. The hotel's haunting reportedly centers around Alice, the original owner who died in room 353 in 1910. Guests have reported seeing ghostly figures, smelling unexplainable scents, and feeling an unseen presence slipping under their covers at night. In a chilling coincidence, multiple guests have reported sharing the same dream. West was so affected by these experiences that he later returned to make The Innkeepers, a film inspired by and shot inside the haunted hotel. During this second production, the strange occurrences continued, with lead actress Sarah Paxton waking up convinced someone was in her room with her. In a final eerie twist, West revealed that the room he chose as the most haunted in his film, selected purely for its size to accommodate camera equipment, turned out to be the same room considered most haunted by the hotel staff in real life. The boundary between fiction and reality is thinner than we'd like to believe, especially when it comes to films that dare to explore the darkest corners of human experience. Whether these curses stem from supernatural forces, collective psychological phenomena, or simply the law of averages at work, they remind us that some stories come with a price. From the Omen's deadly coincidences to the Exorcist's unexplainable events, from Rosemary's Baby's tragic aftermath to modern hauntings like Return to Babylon, these productions share a common thread. They all ventured into forbidden territory and seemingly brought something back with them. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments which cursed movie production you find most disturbing. Until next time, keep watching. If you dare,